Thank you so much. Hello. Thank you so much for joining On Air with Russell of Hotels live radio show. I didn't do the intro today, kind of got caught off guard. I was like, push the button, I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I didn't do the intro. But anyway, that's okay. We just keep it moving, right? Because I can't stop, right? And keep it going. Oh, that was my bell for stock market just closed. So it's 1 o'clock, right? So I'm right on time. So anyway, hope all is well. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm gonna get my banner started here just so you can see who the heck I am and what's going on. So this is On Air with Russell of Hotels Hospitality Talk Show, live hospitality talk show. We are live streaming to YouTube as well as to LinkedIn. So we're live on those platforms. And then after the show is over, it becomes a podcast and it goes to Spotify, Pocket Cast, Google Podcasts, Overcast. I didn't know it was such things as Overcast. I mean, that's the day today in LA is Overcast. And then Apple Podcasts. So it's live on all those, or the podcast is on all those platforms. So if you're interested, you should check those out as well. So we're all about connecting people and collaboration. I always say hashtag hospitality unplugged, which means we tackle everything. We talk about everything, trends, what's up, what's down, COVID related things within the hospitality industry. So we're not afraid to talk about different things, but it's just unplugged. I mean, I'll say things that maybe you were thinking about saying, but you didn't say it, right? Or I talk about jobs, who's hiring, who's not hiring, what issues are, what issues are going on within our industry. So, we're not afraid to talk about anything, but just because you can talk about it doesn't mean you should. Okay, so just remember that. So today is Tuesday, May 11th, 2021, and we're at show number 107. What does that mean, show number 107? I don't know. It's not a milestone because, it's not 100. We passed 107 shows ago. But what it means to me is that, just longevity, just you started something and you continue to do it. So, I mean, the average podcast, they say go 6 shows. People don't even go past 6 shows. I mean, there's a million, just think about it. There's like a million podcasts that are out there, right? And the majority of them don't go past 6 shows, but the ones that do, like mine, I mean, I'm in 107 shows, right? But I'm in the top, I don't know, probably 2 or 3% of the ones that are still going. And I'm not saying I'm not the best show out there. I'm one of them, but I'm not the number one show out there. I mean, there's you got Joe Rogan and all those people, right? But just look at it. This is what you do, because some people think, well, I shouldn't do a podcast because there's so many other people doing it. Well, not many people are doing your same niche, right? Your niche, okay, whatever that is. I do hospitality, right? There's other ones that do hospitality, but do they do it the same spin that I do it? Probably not. Do they have the same people that are listening or watching? Probably not, right? So just remember that. So, and are they me? Do they have the same background or same experience that I do? No, they don't. So you have to think about it like that. People always ask me, well, I'm just thinking about doing a podcast, but it's crowded already. No, it's not. There's room for other people to do it. It's like saying, McDonald's came out and no one else wanted to compete with McDonald's. No one else wanted to come out with a hamburger. Everybody's making a darn hamburger, right? So it's okay. It's okay to get in the crowded space. As long as you have something unique that people want to hear about, talk about, go ahead and do it. Be a marketing disruptor. That's why I started the podcast in the first place, because I wanted to jumpstart my brand. I mean, I was thinking at the end of 2018, what do I need to do so people, remember what I do, who I am and what I do, right? So I said, you know what? I'm going to start a podcast. So I did. I was on someone else's show before, so I got kind of experience being a guest, and then thinking, could I do this? Yeah, I like to talk. I don't know who's going to listen, but I like to talk. So there you go. So that's how it started. So if you have an opportunity to do it, and it's not that expensive to do, I mean, you can do it for free, right? I mean, there's so many different places where you can get on and do a podcast for free. It's not even funny. So if you're thinking about doing it, I'm saying do it. Okay. So, but anyway, show number 107, marketing disruptor of the status quo. That's what I try to do. Try to do things different. Don't do what everyone else is doing. See what your competition is doing and do something else. Industry news. We're just going to get right into this. Excuse me. You guys know about, well, let me back up. If you heard the show last week, you know there's this 2021 Hospitality Power Index for the most influential hospitality leaders of this year, right? It's the International Hospitality Institute is the one that hands out these awards or mentions you or whatever. And I happen to be one of those, right? So for 2021 Hospitality Index, I'm sorry, let me get to my comments. 2021 most influential hospitality leaders. So I'm one of, I don't know, 50 or so that are out there international, right? So that's a good honor, right? Well, check this out. Just today, I was looking at my email, and Lux Life, which stands for Luxury Life, an online magazine that highlights resorts and retreats, nominated Russell of Hotels for their 2021 awards. Now, what is that? Okay, I'm going to read this to you. Okay, so I just bear with me a minute. It says, "Hi, Russell. Hope you are well. I wanted to follow up on a recent email as shortlisting has recently launched for our annual Resorts and Retreats Awards 2021. I am delighted to inform you that Russell of Hotels has been highlighted by Lux Life magazine as a potential nominee this year. As we emerge from an incredibly challenging year for the industry, we feel now more than ever that individuals and companies should be rewarded for how they have adapted during these difficult times," meaning swerved. Okay, that was my word, right? So even in the face of uncertainty, many businesses and their owners have shown their dedication to customers, setting the standard of impeccable service in their industry. So I was nominated for this, right? So this is great, right? So I'm like, heck yeah, this is all right. So and it goes back because I always say, well, how these people know about me? How they find out about me? That's always when someone asks me to do something for them. Like, how did you find me? Did you find me through the website? Did someone refer me? Did you see some of my postings? Because I have a presence on social media. I always want to know, how did they find out about me? So it's just interesting. So only thing I can go off of this, only thing I can say about this is that my postings or my social media presence makes a difference, right? So I'm always, pumping up social media. If you do things the right way, right? I mean, you're not putting things out there that are crazy, that are controversial. Although every now and then you got to be controversial. I'm not gonna say that you can't or you shouldn't, but sometimes you do, depending on what the cause is and what you stand for. You have to do it, and don't be afraid to. If that's what you stand for, if that's what your brand stands for, if that's what your brand is about, then you need to stick up for what that brand is. So, but as long as you're not doing anything that's illegal, against the law, crazy, or whatever, or putting people on blast when you shouldn't be putting people on blast, I think it's a good thing. And I'm a big proponent of social media to get your brand out there, get your face out there, get your voice out there. So that covers, the live shows like I'm doing here, that covers the podcast. I'm not afraid to come on the show and show what I look like, right? I'm not afraid to hear, for you to hear my voice. I'm not afraid for if I stumble over my words or I have to repeat something. I mean, that stuff is beyond, who cares? Just continue to do it, because that's the reason why people are afraid to do certain things like social media, go live or whatever, because, well, how am I going to sound? What am I going to look like? People are going to think this of me. Blah, blah, blah. I wish if I had $1 for every time someone said something, I'd be rich. I wouldn't be on this show. But anyway, you can't get caught up in that. Control what you can control, and the rest of that crap, let it go. So anyway, I just want to let you guys know that. So I want to thank Lex Life Online Magazine for highlighting Russell of Hotels for a 2021 award. If it doesn't matter if I win or not. It's being nominated. That's all that's important. Everybody says that, right? When they're giving a speech. It's just a pleasure and an honor to be nominated. Yeah, it is. It is. No, thank you. But thank you so much. I appreciate that. Hotels, are you ready to reopen? And I've been mentioning this the last couple of times, couple of weeks ago. Are you ready to reopen? What is our game plan? I mean, what's your game plan to reopen? Do you have staff on call? Do those people want to come back to work? Have we hired new people? I mean, remember, from what I keep hearing, there's a shortage of people. People don't want to go to work. You're competing. Jobs are competing with the check, the stimulus check, right? They're competing with that. So do you have people on the call? Are your former associates even coming back? If someone had a meeting scheduled for tomorrow, would you have enough staff to have it set up? That's just a question. How would you handle it? So those are things that are going on. Those are things that I'm hearing. A lack of staff. Um, Service is at I'm gonna say an all-time low, but there's some spotty service going on. Let's just say that there's service that's going on that people are like, what the heck is going on here? The lack of service, right? So hospitality is out the window. Hospitality is, how you're made to feel when you come into that establishment, hotel, restaurant, whatever. But I'm sure the majority of the hotels are doing well. They're doing what they should be doing. But you always hear about the ones that aren't, right? So those are things that I'm hearing. But I have been to hotels where just, I'm a lobby lizard because I go in and kind of check out hotels, see, from a lobby perspective, and see the people coming in, how they interact. Are they keeping social distance, and what are the rules and regulations for that particular hotel? And are people happy? Are they complaining? You would be amazed if you just sit in a hotel lobby and hear what's going on. Just sit down and hear the comments, both positive and negative, but you need to hear that. And most hotels need to do that, right? I mean, I remember back in the day, we call it, what is it? Lobby lizard program or whatever, where all the managers were assigned to go and be a lobby lizard. And you basically just hang out in the lobby. You would talk to guests, see how their stay was. Some people just stood there. They didn't say anything. But I would ride the elevator up and down. And when people got in the elevator, I would ask them questions about their stay. You have your name tag on, so they know that you work there and you just want to know. And sometimes you can take care of a situation that maybe was out of hand, maybe wasn't taken care of before they leave the property. Because once they leave the property and they get those comment cards or the things they email to, like comment cards or whatever the heck they call them. Anyway, guest interaction card. But anyway, you don't want them to leave with a bad taste in their mouth. So you need to take care of it before they leave. So lobby lizard program, those things should be ongoing. They shouldn't be, well, back in the day we used to do it. No, they should be doing that stuff now. Ride the elevator up and down, for the time that you're allotted to do this lobby lizard or LD program or whatever the heck you want to call it. But that's how you can, TripAdvisor and all those where people make the comments and, either they make good comments or bad, and most of it's bad comments, right? And you have to respond to all these comments. Those things were invented because we weren't taking care of the guests, right? I mean, that's it. So why wouldn't we be doing that? Why wouldn't we be, posting up in our lobby in the morning, especially during checkout time, right? Between 7:30 and 9:30, something like that. Someone should be in that lobby checking people, just seeing how their stay was, or if it was good or it was bad. What can I do? Can I help you? Are you going to come back? Can I make a reservation for you to return? I mean, those are things that can happen, but we need to do that. I don't even know how I got off on that, but obviously it was something that needed to be said. Okay, so woo, there you go. So make sure I guess it came back to around, do we have enough staff? But anyway, want to increase engagement? How do you increase engagement, like on social media or whatever? Use IG Reels, that means Instagram for people that don't know Instagram, or do a live broadcast. Like I'm doing a live broadcast. I mean, it's a show, but I'm doing a live broadcast, right? So those are things you can do from your lobby, you can do from the restaurant, you can do from your pool, outside. You may be a little careful about who you have in the shot or whatever you're filming, because you want to make sure the people that you're filming, they're okay with it, or you're not showing faces or whatever. But I would have guests, man, if I was doing this these days, I would have guests that were happy with their stay, talking about their stay. I would like, well, yeah, I'm Russell. I'm the director of sales and marketing here. Hey, how was your stay? And my stay was great. I did this and did that. I had a slight problem, and so, the other manager, he took care of it. I mean, people want to hear that, right? Everything's not going to be perfect at a hotel, right? It's never going to be 100% perfect. But if you're taking care of the situation, that's the thing. You just want to take care of the situations that are happening. So those are things that I would be doing. So if you want to increase your engagement on social media, I'm speaking to like hotels, restaurants, DMCs, whatever, because everybody's thinking, well, I need a big production crew to come in here to do this. You do that, what, once a year? Okay. And you spend all that, whatever, $20,000, $30,000 to do that, to update your whatever, you just did a renovation, whatever. No, this is stuff that you can do day in and day out. Okay. This is stuff on an iPhone or whatever. You can do that and then keep moving, but you need to post things that keep things fresh. So if you wanted to increase your engagement, I just gave two things: use IG Reels and then do a live broadcast. What would prevent you from traveling in 2021? I don't know. Nothing's going to prevent me. I'm vaccinated, got my card, I'm ready to go. So that's just a question for you guys. What would prevent you from traveling? And as I saw this last weekend, I did a road trip, and a lot of people are traveling. You know, they're going from, I went east, so a lot of people are traveling between LA and Arizona, right? I mean, they're doing day trips or what do you call them? What do we call them? Well, day trips. Let's just say day trips or weekend trips. There you go. Staycations. There you go. I'll start singing again. Who's hiring? You know, my favorite hotel is looking for a GM. My favorite hotel in LA area is the Georgian Hotel in Santa Monica. I love that hotel. It's that old New Orleans style building. It's just, it has a veranda where you can have your drinks. I always go there and have a cocktail on the veranda, or just a, what do you call it? Arnold Palmer. That's my favorite drink of all time, an AP. But, you know, when I'm having a cocktail, that would be the perfect place to do it. Why? One thing is right across from the beach, the pier's right there. So if you're looking out, pier's to your left, ocean's right in front of you. To your right, I mean, just more of the beach and a little park, palm trees, all that stuff. It's a great place to people watch, right? So you sit right on the veranda and have a little snack, have a drink. The Georgian Hotel. Well, anyway, the Georgian Hotel in Santa Monica is looking for a general manager. They're managed by Aimbridge Hospitality. So check it out. I think that hotel has 88 rooms. So it's a small boutique hotel, but they're looking for a GM. The Shade Hotel in Manhattan Beach is looking for a GM as well. I know that hotel as well. That's another boutique hotel. Very nice. It's near the Strand, I think, but it's not. Is it on the beach? I can't remember if it's actually on the beach, but it's a very nice hotel, the Shade Hotel. Corporate Director of Purchasing, the new Westin Anaheim is looking for a Corporate Director of Purchasing. So if you're interested in that, and these are all on Indeed.com, and these are all greater LA area openings. So Santa Monica, what did I mention? Santa Monica, Manhattan Beach, Anaheim, which is in Orange County. Anaheim is where Disneyland is, just in case you did not know. And the new Westin Anaheim is managed by Wincom Hospitality. Not familiar with that hospitality company. It's probably a management company, but it's Wincom. W-I-N-C-O-M-E Hospitality. Shutters on the Beach in Santa Monica. They're looking for a meetings and special events manager. That would be a great place to work. I love Shutters on the Beach. Hilton Long Beach, the LBC. They're looking for a catering sales manager. So the Hilton Long Beach, I know that property very well. Right there on, is that Ocean Boulevard too? That's right. That's on Ocean Boulevard as well. So, but that's in Long Beach, you know, opposed to Santa Monica. So, but anyway, so once you talk to these people and you have an interview, I have a few tips for interviewing. And I mentioned this last week. So a few tips for interviewing. Number one, succinct, honest, and engaging. Make sure, you know, you're to the point, you know exactly what you want, right? That's one thing, that's succinct, right? And then be honest and engaging, because people know during the interview if you're not being honest, right? That's easy to detect. Number two, try using a job description to prepare. So most jobs that you're looking for on Indeed, H Careers, whatever else you're looking, whatever other platforms you look for a job on, they always have job descriptions of what they're looking for. So make sure you mention those things in your interview. If I'm looking for, you know, director of sales with, you know, 10 years of experience and someone that's an expert on social media, you want to make sure you highlight those things. Well, I do social media. I've done it. I've been doing it for 10 years. I started with, X amount of followers, and it's not all about the followers. It's about the engagement, all this kind of stuff. So anyway, so make sure you follow the job description. And then number 3, showcase your strengths. Give examples. Like, say if they're looking for a union a manager that has union experience, you want to make sure you mention, hey, I have union experience, and this is my involvement with, the whatever the unions are. I can't remember the numbers, but if you're familiar with Unite here, you need to make sure you mention those things and how you dealt with, the union representatives, or when they file a petition against you, or whatever the heck it is. You want to make sure you pull on all your experiences and give examples if you need to. Okay, and don't give up. I mean, because you didn't get that first job doesn't mean you stop looking for a job. That means that wasn't the right one for you. So keep going. I had this young lady calls me. I used to work with her. I'm not going to mention her name because she actually just got a job. So congratulations to her. But I cannot mention her yet because she hasn't started the job yet. She's still in a former position. So, but she would call me because she wanted advice on what she should do. So she was in HR. I knew her when she was in HR, but she had experience being in housekeeping as well. But she would always complain about housekeeping this, housekeeping that. So, which led me to think that she didn't want to do housekeeping. She would rather wait for an HR position. So she would call me and say, "Oh, there's this housekeeping position available," and I would say, "Why are you going to apply for the housekeeping position?" "Because I need a job." I'm like, "Okay, I understand that, but sometimes we have to wait for that. Nothing's ever going to be perfect, but sometimes we have to wait." But I said, I agree that you need to apply for that particular job, even though it's housekeeping. You have housekeeping experience. I said, go ahead and apply for it. Well, anyway, this goes 6 months, 7 months, back, and she didn't get a job in housekeeping. And then finally she did get one. She got one as a supervisor. Okay, so she started working as a supervisor. And I said, well, you still need to start looking for, because your passion and what you really want to do is HR. So that's what you need to do. So I'm gonna make a long story short. She interviewed with three different jobs at 3 different hotels. One was for housekeeping, and 2 of them were for HR. Okay, so, and I asked her, I said, what position? I said, if the housekeeping position called you, would you take it? She said, yeah, I would take it because she needs a job. I said, okay. I said, all right, go ahead. So guess what? She interviewed for 2 jobs in the same day. One was housekeeping, one was HR. And the housekeeping position, right after she left, like 20 minutes later, they called her and offered her a job as a housekeeping manager at this full service hotel. And I said, oh, that's great. Congratulations. I said, you should wait though. I said, you should wait because you haven't heard from the other 2 positions or the other position that was going to offer an HR position. She goes, I don't think I'm going to get it. I said, just be confident and just wait. And she didn't respond. She did respond, say, thank you very much. Send me the offer letter. So you have time before they, when they send you the offer letter to when you sign it to send it back, right? I mean, you can hold them off for a week if you had to, right? Well, the same day, probably an hour later, she gets a call from the job that she really wanted because it was closer to her house. And guess what? It was an HR manager position at a hotel she didn't know she would even, have the experience to get there. But hey, things work out, and she got that position. She accepted it. She's now going to be the HR director at this particular hotel, which I can't say yet. But she stuck to her guns. She held off and waited for a minute, and then guess what? The position that she really wanted, she got, and she got more money than she thought she was going to get. So I'm like, this is it. So just be prepared to wait a little bit, get that job, because right now, remember that there's a shortage of people looking for jobs. So if you know that, you can wait for a little while, right? I'm not, I'm just saying that, right? I'm not saying that everybody should wait and don't take that first job that comes to you, but I'm saying you need to start evaluating things. What's important? Look long-term, not short-term, because I guarantee you, if she would have taken that job as a housekeeping manager, in a couple months, she'll be looking for another job because she really didn't want to do housekeeping. She wanted HR. So there you go. That was a tangent, but every now and then I got to jump on that soapbox and say that. But congratulations to her. But I can't say her name yet, but I will after she's officially signed and given her other job her notice. So I'll find out more information. So hopefully next week I can go ahead and tell you guys who that is or was. Is your hotel open or did you go back to work? Create some FOMO. Okay, that means fear of missing out for people that don't know what that means. So make sure you create FOMO. If you're open, you're going back to work, whatever. Create some FOMO. Use social media consistently to get your message out. Whatever your product or service is, stay relevant, and it should be a huge part of your marketing strategy. Non-meat eats. Now, you guys know that I don't eat meat. I'm plant-based. I don't call myself vegan because that's a whole lifestyle, but I am 100% plant-based. And normally, excuse me, I have to take a drink of water. A little parched, but normally, I have this non-meat eat section where I talk about, the restaurants I've gone to the previous week. And guess what? I did go to a restaurant, but it wasn't for food. So I have to tell you this. So I did a road trip over the weekend, right? I went to Blythe, where I'm from, to visit my mom. So, it was Mother's Day, right? So I went to visit my mom for Mother's Day. So I did a little road trip to Blythe, but along the way, I always stop. There's this place called Hadley's. It's like I'm sorry, not Hadley's first. It's Dowling's. Dowling's is similar to a Hadley's, but it's a roadside market. But it's kind of like it gives you this vibe of a farmer's market, but it's in a market, of course, right? It's not a bunch of different booths or things like that. No, it's a market, but they have fresh vegetables. I get jalapenos from there. I get tomatoes, so I make my salsa, all that kind of stuff. So, but anyway, I have dry stuff. I have beans like lentils, like black beans. They got mixed beans. They got all kind of stuff, right? So I get snacks and I get lentils, and then I get this pecan roll, which my mom loves. So I get that for her, right? So I stop there all the time. I've been stopping this place for 20 years. Okay, so I stop there, and then I get back in the car, and I'm driving, and Hadley's is there, but I'm not going to Hadley's. I normally go to Hadley's because they make one of the few places, at least probably the only place on the 10 freeway going through like the Palm Springs area that has date shakes. Okay, now date is a popular fruit, right? That grows in Indio, California, which is, like I said, going through that whole Palm Spring, like from what is it? What does that place? Cabazon to Palm Springs to like Indio and all Coachella. You've heard of Coachella, right? So that whole area, they have date farms everywhere. So getting a date shake is no big deal if you're in the city. But on the freeway, the only place I know is Hadley's. Well, I haven't been drinking Hadley's date shakes for a number of years because guess what? You guys didn't forget, I'm plant-based. So the date shakes normally are made with what? Milk or whatever, ice cream, real ice cream, right? Well, I don't eat real ice cream because I'm plant-based. Well, check this out. I'm driving on the freeway and I happen to look and there's Hadley's. There's Hadley signs everywhere, right? Come get your fruit from Hadley's. Okay, yeah, I see that. But then I happen to look and it said date shakes. And I said, okay, yeah, date shakes. Oh, I wish I could have one. The next sign said vegan date shakes. I almost crashed my car trying to get out the exit because I said, I have to go try this vegan date shake at Hadley's. So I did, and I was so happy I did it. It was made with almond milk, and it had, of course, it had dates, but it also had coconut. Okay, so it had like a coconut, almond, and a date flavor. Oh my God, it was so good. It was so refreshing and frothy. Oh my God. On a warm day, something frothy? Oh man. Oh. So I'll be back to Hadley. So thank you so much, Hadley's. I didn't get a chance to go to a restaurant, so I can tell you about, but I did go to Hadley's. It's another store similar to the Dowlings that I went to, but it's bigger. And Hadley's are, I think, nationwide for the most part. But not all of them serve date shakes because dates are, in that area. So It was great. So if you guys are ever going, say you're going from LA to Palm Springs or to, God forbid, going to Blythe, but if you're going to Arizona and you're on the 10 freeway going east, stop at Hadley's. You'll see the signs. I can't think of the exit, but you'll see the signs and get you a vegan date shake, and you won't be mad that you stopped. Okay, you'll be satisfied. You'll be like, man, this is a frothy drink. Okay. I heard it on air with Russell of Hotels because he loves frothy drinks. So there you go. Hotels. Oh boy. Hotels. Are we being consistent with our content or messaging during COVID times? What does that mean? Are we sending out a messages of our protocols? Whatever our protocols are, if that's keeping your distance, your social distancing, if that's whatever the protocols are. Your restaurants aren't open, or this is now open. Your spa is not open, or these are the new times for that. Make sure those are in your website and it's consistent, right? Because one thing you don't want is for things to be on your website and you show up. Okay, let's give you an example. On your website, it says social distancing, and you're required to wear a mask. But when you show up, no one has a mask. There's no social distancing. It's just a free for all. You don't want that. It has to be consistent. You don't want to send out the wrong, inconsistent message to guests. So just make sure whatever is on your website is exactly what you're doing on property. Okay. Are we showing off our staff utilizing these protocols? Are we cleaning more? Are we, cleaning handrails? Do we have sanitation stations in, every corner of the lobby or in the elevator or next to the elevator? Are we wiping down the buttons in the elevator? Are we spraying? Are we making housekeeping sexy? What does that mean? Meaning we're bringing housekeeping employees to the forefront because we want to make sure, or we want to visually see people cleaning things. And that's what people want to see, right? Everything I talked about or everything I've heard from hotels, hoteliers and all this stuff, they're talking about, doing that, making sure that people see, because I want to see it, then I'm going to take a picture and post it on social media. So they say, oh, Hotel XYZ that Russell of Hotels was at, they're using these protocols. Okay, I like that. I'm going to use that hotel. That's basically how it works, right? That's basically how an influencer works. I'm not saying that I'm an influencer. I'm more of a content creator. But, some people would say, oh, Russell, he's an influencer. Whatever. I don't take offense to that, but I think it's a little bit more than that, especially, anyway, I just think it's a little more than that. But if that works, where people are comfortable with seeing me going to places and taking pictures and sending them back so people can see them, I mean, that's what it's all about. It's all about my brand makes your brand better. That's what it comes down to. Okay, so my brand is to keep your brand relevant and keep your brand top of mind. That's what I do. So however I need to do that, that's what I do. But it's always good, right? It's always in good taste. So make sure you're showing pictures and things like that. What's open in your hotel or what's closed? Are your restaurants open? What are the new hours? Or is it a limited, menu? Whatever that is, just show us what that is. Is your spa open? Are you doing massages? If you're a resort. What about golf? Is the pro shop open now? If it's limited hours, make sure you mention that stuff on your website and make sure there's signage around your hotel that says, okay, these are the new hours. What's going on within your area or destination? What about restaurants? If your restaurant is closed, what are my food options? I need to know that, right? So those are the things that need to be handed out or on your website or talked about. I mean, there are things that you would think those are simple things, but believe me, there's a whole list of hotels that haven't even done that basic stuff. That's basic stuff, right? Update your websites. What have you been doing during this time? I don't know. I just had to say that. Oh, this is a question someone asked me, or it was a question on, it was a whole clubhouse room, a discussion. Should hotels or DMCs have their own podcasts or shows? I'm like, they couldn't agree who would do MOD shifts or schedules, let alone now someone's going to do a podcast at a hotel. That would be funny. No, if they could, yeah, that'd be great. But it's always a question of, do they want to do it? It has to be consistent. who's going to take the lead on it? Because everybody, you would think the GM would take the lead on it, right? But that's not always the case in every hotel, right? Well, what if I don't have things I want to talk about, or I run out of things I'm going to say, that kind of stuff. So I think they should, because it's a way to jumpstart your brand and talk about your brand on a consistent basis. I mean, as things happen almost. And you can even do a show like this where you're walking around, and of course you want to get the okay from your employees and guests, but there's ways you can walk around. There's ways that you can do it. Never want to, videotape kids or anything like that. But you get adults just to consent that, yeah, we do a quick video shoot. You let them know that you're going to talk to them or you're not going to talk to them. Let them know ahead of time. But these are things that you can do to make things interesting for a podcast or a live show. I mean, that's what I do. I go to hotels, and I haven't talked to any guests yet, but I will show, I call it my office of the day, hashtag my office for the day, where I go to hotels. And I just my job is just to make sure that people know that this hotel's open. Okay, because a lot of times it's open and it's operating, right? And there's people coming there, right? And that's what people want to see. But you don't want people guessing like, well, is that hotel still open? Or, is the restaurants open? Are the restaurants open? Are the bars open? Because I used to go there to the bar, but I haven't seen anything if the bars are open. Those are things that we need to communicate. It's a constant thing. People think communication, and especially on social media, is like a one-time thing. No, it's ongoing. And the worst social media posting is if you don't do it at all. Okay, so people think that, oh, I don't want to, it may not look good or this and that. You know what? If you're not doing anything at all, that's bad. If you're doing at least something, you're posting something, that's good, right? Because everybody starts off even with social media, okay? Everybody starts out even. I only got 3 followers. Okay, we'll grow that from 3 to 100, okay? I mean, it takes time. I mean, I remember on Twitter, I started with, 10. I remember. And I got up to, 13,000. I'm like, how the heck did I even get to 13,000? But I did. IG hasn't grown as fast as that. But I remember a couple of months ago, I had 1,000. I have 1,400 now. So in the last month and a half, I've grown by 400 people. And I think a lot of that has to do with Clubhouse, because, people see you, or not see you, but they hear you, and you come on stage and you're talking. You get to promote what you're doing, because people ask you to come on, tell us a little bit about you and what's your question. So you get to, give them a 30-second elevator pitch, about you and what you're doing. And people see that and they start following you on these social media platforms. So that's what it's all about. So just make sure, if hotels are going to do, hotels or DMCs do their podcast or a show, just remain consistent. Have a plan. What are you going to talk about? Have a format. And that goes for anyone, not just for hotel shows. I mean, hotels or DMCs or restaurants. That goes for anyone. Make sure you have a template of what you're going to do, right? An outline of what you're going to do. I mean, I follow an outline every week. I'm just not up here. You may think I'm just up here spewing and just talking, right? Well, I actually have a format that I follow. I just plug and play. Just take things out and put things in as the weeks progress. So there you go. Contact information. How do you get a hold of Russell of Hotels? My email, russell@russellofhotels.com. I'm on Twitter, IG, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Clubhouse at Russell of Hotels, or Russell L. Edmond, EDMOND. That is my name. And my website is russellofhotels.com. We do sponsorships. If you're interested in that, go to my website, russellofhotels.com, and it tells you what's included in the sponsorships. I'm going to have people on the show. You come and talk about your brand. You talk about yourself, your career. Talk about if you have promotions. Say you just did a renovation and you want the world to know. So for people that don't, hotels and DMCs that don't do their own podcast or a show like this, come on my show. You can come on my show. Doesn't cost, well, no, I almost said something. Wouldn't cost you anything to set anything up. You come on and we can talk. We can talk. We can chop it up. We can talk about your brand, how you got to where you are, where you started. I mean, the sky's the limit, but you need to jumpstart something. You can't, if you're just barely getting your toe wet in social media, you need something to enhance that, right? Because a lot of hotels, they say they do social media, but if you're not doing stuff every day, you're not doing social media. Boom, done. Drop the mic. Hotel, yeah, for hotels that are opening, grand reopenings, like say restaurants. Your restaurants aren't open. Perfect time to do a grand reopening for your restaurant that happens to be in a hotel. Perfect time, right? That's what I would do. But anyway, if you have any questions at all, reach out. Russell at russellofhotels.com is my email. What is a Russell of Hotels group? Well, I do a radio show, a live, well, radio show. I always say radio show, a live hospitality show that's streamed to LinkedIn and what do you call it? YouTube every week, every Tuesday. I'm the host of the show, Russell Edmond, but I go by the name of Russell of Hotels. So I do that, which I help brands come on and build their presence. I do video postings. I'm a content creator on social media. I have a website. You can make reservations, hotel reservations anywhere in the world. Go russellofhotels.com and you can see that. And I do site selection. I haven't been mentioning the site selection because guess what? Meetings weren't happening. So why would I mention something and nothing's happening? But real quick, what is hotel site selection? Because guess what? Meetings are starting to happen again. I've already sourced out a couple hotels. So for people that did not know that, yeah, I do the social media things for hotels, smaller hotels, boutique hotels, or whoever needs it. But I also am the old term is meeting planner. I mean, the old term where people say, well, I'm a meeting planner. Well, I'm not a meeting planner. I'm more of a hotel site selection representative, company, expert, whatever. So my job is to assist companies and organizations or even individuals with finding a suitable hotel for their meeting needs. So 10 rooms or more is considered a group, right? So if you take it like from a travel agent perspective, so I'll be a travel agent, but for group business. So 10 rooms or more, so say if it's a board meeting, which I do tons of board meetings, well, I used to pre-COVID. So if you need a board meeting for 35 people and you need it in, Salt Lake City, Utah, my job would be to, source your RFP, request for proposal. I would send this out to multiple hotels on your behalf to the hotels or to the DMC or CVB in Salt Lake City, and they would source it out to the hotels for me, and those hotels would contact me directly and say, hey, we have this, and that. These are our rates. These are our menus. These are the dates that we have available, and then I take that information, compile it, and then give it to my client because it's the client that makes the decision. It's not me that makes the decision. They sign the contract. They agree to the terms, but I want to make sure all the terms are correct for that particular group, right? So my job is not just to find the site selection. My job is to go through the contract as well. So contract negotiation, price negotiation, make sure the clauses that are in there that are correct for that particular meeting. Especially these days, you want to make sure someone's going through your contract because of this now COVID. You want a COVID clause in there that basically gets you out if there's another outbreak. You want to make sure that's in there. And make sure hotels have this. Hotels have to have a force majeure, which many of them do, but it didn't specifically say pandemic. Someone said epidemic, but very few said pandemic. But because the hotel industry was, this is all new to everybody, so they let a lot of people off the hook for the most part. But guess what? They're not letting people off the hook now. So you can't be ignorant anymore when it comes to pandemic, because guess what? Hotels are not. And they're putting these things in their contract. So make sure you're going through this contract and you understand. If you don't understand, you need to have them explain it to you. What does this clause mean? Okay, so that's what I do. I offer those types of services as a hotel site selection person or company or organization. I offer those particular services. So I find the site for them. I send out the RFPs. I receive the proposals from each hotel. I compile a report, give it to my client, and then when they want to move forward, I negotiate the rate, the space, make sure the dates are there, the contract, make sure everything is in the contract that's supposed to be there or not supposed to be there. Because sometimes hotels will send out a boilerplate contract or an agreement that has things in there because it's just a, copy and paste, and they'll leave things in there that really have nothing to do with your group. So that stuff doesn't need to be in there. So, but you have to have someone in there to say, hey, well, can you take this out? Take that out. Well, why do you want to take it out? Because it has nothing to do with my group. I'm not using your spa. So you're not going to charge me $10 to use your spa when we're going to be here for a one-day meeting. We're in and out. Why would I use your spa? Why am I getting charged $10? I mean, things like that. I'm just using that as an example. So there you go. So that's what I do. And I do a live show, just like I said. A disruptor of the status quo. So as you can see, I'm all about disrupting everything. So yeah, I didn't have a podcast before, but boom, I want to do it because I want people to know who the heck I am. So that's why I became a marketing disruptor of the status quo, because I want people to know exactly what I do, when I do it, why I do it, and how I can help you. So that's what it's all about. And connecting, collaborating with people, and kind of pointing people in the right direction. If they need assistance with, anything from HR issues to, I used to work in a hotel, and I was in a union hotel. A lot of people don't have that experience, right? Dealing with unions. Sorry, I took another drink of water. And that's for more of the people that are listening to the audio because they can't see what I'm doing. So I just want to make sure I let people know that. So yeah, so union experience that I have, a lot of people don't have that. So, there's a myriad of different things that people ask me. Meetings, union information, like how do we deal with this? How do we deal with that? Social media posts, how do I post? I need to get more engagement. How do I do that? What suggestions you have? We want to put out more content, with pictures and things like that. Okay, well, let's do it. Video versus IG Reels. Okay, so I don't do a lot of just still pictures. I do more video, right? So I would do a reel in a minute, because reels, I'm telling you, you get so much engagement from reels, so many views. It's ridiculous. I posted something. What did I post? I can't remember what it was, but it was something. It was food related. Yeah, it was cookie. There were cookies. I baked some cookies. See, I'm here in La Cocina right now. La Cocina, that means kitchen for people that don't speak Spanish. But I was baking some cookies 2 weeks ago, and I just posted the pictures. And I put a song, an Elmo song, not Elmo, Cookie Monster song attached to it. I got like 2,500 views in like an hour off of that one video. And it was a reel. So that's why I say use reels, because it will blow up whatever you put in front of. Well, not everything, but I think you still have to be consistent with your posting. But every now and then you'll hit something where it just boom, blows up. So it always doubles or triples my engagement or my views anyway from a regular posting. But some things will just almost go like viral. You know what I mean? For me, it's viral, right? 2,700 views an hour. Yeah, that's viral for me. So anyway, let me finish this show. How is your professional or personal brand staying relevant? These are 4 questions I ask every week. How's your professional or personal brand staying relevant? Number 2, knowing what you know now, is there anything that you're doing differently? Number 3, have you connected with anyone new lately, or anyone old that you haven't, communicated with because of COVID? Go out and reach out to people. This is the time. Number 4, what has this situation taught you? The whole COVID thing, what has it taught you? Hotels, are you selling differently? Are you marketing more or less? You should be marketing more. Are you keeping your brand in front of your competition? You need to. Marketing is never about you. It begins with your audience and what they want. Once you know what your audience wants, connect them with your product or service in a way they want to receive it. It's not one size fits all. Okay, some people want you to reach them through Instagram because that's what they look at. So it depends on who you're trying to reach and the demographics. You have to look at all that different stuff. I was listening to a Clubhouse the other day, and this guy was like, he's supposedly a marketer, and he said, "Oh, I hate social media." Well, guess what? I didn't have a chance to say this to him, but guess what? It's not even about you. It's about your clients. It's about who you're trying to get in your door or use your product or your service. It's never about you. So when you're doing those marketing plans, I'm speaking to hotel people, when you're doing your marketing plans every year, it should be a working document first and foremost. But remember, put your foot in those shoes, in their shoes, not it's not about you. Like, well, how would I want? No, 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 no. You need to be trying to get those people in your door, not the other way around. Okay. Not you in the door, them in your door. So who are these people you're trying to reach? How are you trying to reach them? Why are you trying to reach them? Okay. And how are they receiving the information you're giving them? Or through what avenues or vehicles or platforms or whatever? All that stuff has to, you have to take that into consideration when you're coming up with a plan, because you just can't go out there willy-nilly, although sometimes it's okay to do that, right? But you have to do something and you have to look at. So for him to say, oh, I hate social media, I don't use social media. I'm like, well, okay, well, how is your business doing? I don't know. Anyway, that's just me. Well, as I come to a close, I always end the show with these 4 things. I call these the Russell of hotels, the 4 P's. So number 1, purpose. Know why you're doing what you're doing. You know how people say, know your why. No, know what you're doing. Know why you're doing what you're doing. Okay, so if that's your why, then that's fine. Number 2, people. Be a leader, be inclusive. Number 3, passion. Either you have it or you don't. Okay, either I have a passion to do this show or I don't. Because you would be able to see if I didn't have a passion to do it, right? You'd be like, why is this Russell Hotel guy still doing this show? He obviously doesn't have a passion for it. But no, you have to have a passion for whatever you're doing. Either you have it or you don't. Number 4, perseverance. Be consistent. Continue to evolve. Don't give up, and swerve when you need to. Swerve. That's the word that I use, because there's some people that are like, what does it mean, swerve? What does that mean? That's the P word that I don't use anymore. Pivot, people use pivot. I use swerve. So be consistent, continue to evolve, don't give up, and swerve when you need to. Leaders need to have more empathy during these COVID times. Be more inclusive with your team. Use this time to develop yourself, separate yourself from the pack, learn something new, invest in yourself, and always, always stay relevant. Focus on what you can control. The other stuff, the heck with it. If you can't control it, the heck with it. Someone else's issue, okay? That's how people get stressed out. Worrying about everybody else's crap, okay? Worry about your crap, okay? That's what you do. And your brand is your culture. And the last thing, leadership dictates where your company will go. So be a good leader. Be, true to what you believe in, and people will follow, right? If you're doing the right thing, you're not dogging anybody out, you're not, crapping on people, you know what I mean? You're pulling people down on your way up, you know what I mean? That's anyway. I can go on and on. But anyway, thank you guys so much for joining On Air with Russell of Hotels, a live radio show or live hospitality talk show, which will be a podcast after this is over. So you guys stay tuned for that. You guys have a great week. It's Taco Tuesday. I'm not sure what I'm making today, but guess what? You'll know next week. So you guys take care. Be good. And let me see if I can roll out of here with my background, my intro or something. Anyway, you guys take care. Peace.